Hey everyone, Siam here. So, as I've been saying for about a week now, that we should start hitting the $8,000 level with Bitcoin, and it's finally playing out. And today I sent this picture out here saying that within the next couple of days, potentially today, we'll see a drop down to 8,000. However, this video is to explain why I believe we're going to see a lot less than 8,000, as in 8,000 is going to be like a chocolate fire guard. We're going to see lower than that. So let's get rid of that and have a look at Bitcoin now. So this is the actual chart, this is the arrow I drew, and I said we should be hitting sort of the 7,000, 7,500. Well, like with anything, you have to, in fact, before we go any further, for those of you who are not aware, I'm going to quickly explain what a dead cat bounce and a double top is. I know I've mentioned it, and yes, there are a fair few of you here who already understand, but tough. This is for those that don't. So let's just get a thing out. So basically, whenever you see a market fall, you'll always see the market doing stuff like this. Excuse the bloody builders next door. And the market always falls down like this, and this is basically the price action of what's called a dead cat bounce. There's an economist years ago that said if you threw a cat down a flight of stairs, it's going to bounce all the way down. Bit crude, I know, but what happens is when you see the market coming down and then do this, the moment it starts to come back down again, you need to think to yourself, okay, this could be a potential dead cat bounce. So what happens is it creates a bit of a neckline. So from where this bounced, that is the neckline, and basically the distance between the neckline and the peak of the pullback should represent on the way down. So let's say that, let's take this, say this is Bitcoin, and let's say this pullback was, I don't know, from here to here was, I don't know, $3,000. Well, what this means is that from the neckline, this should fall another 3,000. Okay, so that is what a dead cat bounce is. And then if it does this, it's still too early to act, because what could happen is this, and I mean then you're creating what's basically a double bottom, and then this is actually quite bullish. So when it gets down to this level here, you then have to wait. And what happens when we see a breakout, you'll normally see it spike down, it'll pull back, and then carry on its way. And that's why when you see a dead cat bounce, it's not perfect, and you see lots of little ones in between it. So that's what a dead cat bounce is. And the other one I want to talk about is a double top. It's very similar. So market does something like this. And again, as it's starting to, whoopsie daisy, as it starts to come back down here, you're thinking to yourself, right, here's the neckline. Oh, no, that's the neckline. Oh, something along here is the neckline. And basically the distance between here and here should follow through down here, etc. So that's a dead cat bounce, and this is a double top. And the inverse is obviously a double bottom. Okay, so that's just a quick run through. Now I want to show you what's happening looking at the bigger picture. So it's still annoying that we don't have proper bloody global market cap data here. So we're going to have to make do with taking little silly screenshots like so. Let's call that today, I don't know, can't think of anything else. And then today, edit. There we go. Oops. Right. So here we have global market cap, and long story short, we are seeing a bit of a squeeze, and so basically it looks something like this. And also something like that. Now this, and also we have a bit of a neckline or a sort of level here. Now technically this is, see again, like with all forms of technical analysis, you can look at things in two ways. So me drawing this shows actually this is a bullish maneuver because we're basically attacking the strong support level here and this trend line here, which means technically we should see a bounce, and then we should see another bounce like this, and then it should do something like that. This actually, in a falling wedge in a rising market like this, is a bullish signal. However, I disagree with all of this now. Sometimes cryptos do not follow the same logic, and what we're actually seeing are two things. We're seeing a big, on the bigger picture, in fact that is a beautiful head and shoulders there. Anyway, what we are seeing is actually, let's draw a bigger line here, we're seeing a dead cat bounce. So we're seeing that, and I believe what's going to happen, or no, what could happen, I'm probably only about 60 to 60% confident, but we should see something like this. Obviously there'll be mini pullbacks along the way, but we should see, we could see movement down to this next support level, which is around here, so a little buying area around here, which is which is going to be quite significant. And also, if you get rid of some of this, you can see that there's a double top that has formed and is played out here on the global market cap. Now, if I am correct, and we do get down to these levels here, that's basically it's around the $200 billion market cap level, which is, which would be one hell of a drop. And it's just annoying we don't have more accurate data so we can actually see what's going on. But yeah, if we really zoom in here, we have a bit of a dub top here going on here. But so that's that. Now let's move on to Bitcoin. And the thing is, we have that double top, which is why I said ages ago, this is why this was the supposed inverted head and shoulders that everyone was going crazy about. Well, I said no, bollocks, it's a double top. And if you see the line here, basically it went from 9,500 up to 11,500. So that's a 2,000 dollar rally from the neckline. So 2,000 minus 9,500 takes us to 7,500. It takes us to this level here, and that level coincides with this level of sort of resistance, support down here. So I think the first move down, and the thing is, this is, I think 7,500 is a safe bet. 8,000 is just a given. And what we tend to see, if we look at the bigger picture, so you should always look at the bigger picture. What does this look like to you? This is a big dead cat bounce on the bigger time frame. And now obviously we don't know where, because this is a bit of a spike, we can't really see where the neckline is. But let's say the neckline was here at the 8,000 level. It then rallied $3,500 from the neck level. So what's 3,500 minus 8,000? So that brings us to 4.5. Again, that 4.5 coincides with that global market cap, because look here, this is sort of around the first of September. 1st of September is that high which I said we should fall to. So so I'm increasingly wary that this is going to be a big shit show. And as I said before, whenever we have big moves like this, I said this is simply the killer whales trying to get their fill. That's all it is. And I said we're going to see an increase of negative news articles and FUD and people slamming cryptos. Well, guess what's happened? That's happening pretty much every day at the moment. And here's something a bit random. I look at a thing called Google Trends, and basically this, you can detect like this is through Google's search keywords, etc. And when will Bitcoin rise? And so when you see this, you tend to see a spike in Bitcoin. So for example, when the type of people that are going to be typing in when will Bitcoin rise in Google are the idiot punters who haven't got a clue and who are like, oh, when will it rise? And that they're starting to feel extreme pain. And if you look at a peak in the search terms of when will Bitcoin rise, we're looking at end of December, end of January. This coincides with the lows. So this low was around, yeah, so 1st of February, end of January was around there. Past 12 months, 90 days, let's bring it in a bit. So yeah, this was the 1st of February, and what happened on the 1st of February? We were pretty low. So the market was like this. People were in a bit of pain. This isn't accurate, of course. And this is the 5th of February, where we had another spike, and the 5th of February was right here, right on that low. So people, oh, when will Bitcoin rise? And there are a few other things. So Bitcoin crash. You tend to see a spike of this when we see a spike in Bitcoins here. So it's 22nd of December. If we have a look at the 22nd of December, there we go. That was that spike down there. So whenever you see a little spike in Bitcoin crash, that's actually a good buying opportunity, because here people go, oh, Bitcoin's crashed, so you can then quickly buy and ride a move up quickly, only in the short term. But yeah, so going back to the weekly chart, Bitcoin looks like it's most likely going to hit 8,000, easy peasy. But if this is correct and this is a dead cat bounce on the bigger time frame, we're looking at sort of $5,000 to $6,000 Bitcoin. So yeah. So if you're still out of the market, what am I doing? Yeah. I think 7,500 is a safe bet if you want to get back in Bitcoin. But personally, if I was still on the sidelines waiting to get back in Bitcoin and alts, I would actually wait. I would put a Hail Mary low blow order in, and put an order in at $6,000 just to anticipate a spike down, because we may hit this trend level here and it may spike through it. Yeah, and so you may get filled. So if you put it at say 6,100, then yeah, just in case we do get a bit of a spike down, and even if we do go down to the 5,000 level, yeah, it's fine. So at the moment I'm waiting. So that's what we're doing here. Yeah. So also another thing which I've been aware of this for a while actually, and it's the potential, and I'm going to say potential correlation to stocks. So if we add a comparison of the S&P 500, which is over here, no scale. There we go. So when you put the US, so the biggest US stock market in, which is the red one here, you can see that it sort of mimics Bitcoin a bit. So they tend to do the same thing-ish. But the thing is, when you look at anything through a fine scope, everything looks looks correlated, and sometimes you may see temporary correlations when really it's not quite so. However, what we have seen is that Bitcoin does tend to lead stocks a little bit. So if you go back to say middle of 2016, we had a start of a fall over here on the 19th of the 6th, and then the start of the fall happened about 4 days later with stocks, and then we had the bottom over here on the 23rd, and then here on the 27th, 4 days later, we had the bottom here, and again, but it's not always the same. So yes, technically speaking, like here we had a bit of a fall, but it was, yeah, I think, and sometimes here stocks have actually led Bitcoin in fall. So yeah, at the moment, yeah, it is somewhat correlated. I wouldn't hang your hat on that. I think it's just a short term. I mean, now we have the futures market in there, and the banks can actually start playing with the prices a bit. I think we're just in a short term lockstep. So don't think Bitcoin always precedents it, because here, if you look here, all-time high for Bitcoin was on the 17th of December, whereas the high for stocks was on the 26th. So this is what, a 9-10 day lag. So yeah. So whether this is leading this, who knows? But long story short, I see both of them falling quite considerably in the short term. And here, yeah, I'm actually shorting the S&P 500 right now, which is going to be quite interesting. So let's get back to Bitcoin and get rid of this. It's confusing. So that's that. I wouldn't pay too much attention to that. So here are my actions. I'm actually all out at the moment. Well, no, I've still got some in. So if we look at this, I've got 5 different portfolios. Not Ellie & Co, I've got others. So at the moment, as you can see, I mean, this is quite inaccurate. I've recently sold a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm actually sat in, well, as much as I hate to admit it, I'm sat in Tether at the moment. And I think what I'll probably do is send Tether to Kraken and convert it into euros, and then set in a buy order for Tether again to move back into Binance and then Neo. But again, yeah. So the $71,000 I have here is just simply my smart tracker. As you can see, I'm still massively up with some of them. But obviously there's a lot where I am down, and I think this is the same, and I'm just going to leave, these are here, my smart tracker, I'm just going to leave it there, even though the trader in me is thinking, what the hell are you doing, Simon, just sell freaking everything. But at the end of the day, I can't really be asked to go through and set, I mean, I'm only put like $100 in some of these, oh no, a bit more, but it's now obviously down. So yeah, the one which is stinging at the moment a little bit, if we look at this, is 4. I've got 20,000, no, 10,004. So I've got 7 there. I've probably got another 4 down here somewhere. Yeah, I have. That's interesting. Where the hell is 4? Yeah, I've got 2. So I've got my 10,000, enough for my my masternode there. But anyway, so yeah, this is another thing. So people are going, Simon, yeah, but I'm closing, like if I sell Neo now, I'm closing out with losses. But I just want to show you here, well, I've actually lost shitloads recently. So for example, here I sold out of Neo. I basically got back in at 108. And I've sold again at 81, so yeah, I've lost out on $60,000 there. I made a loss in DGD, technically speaking, even though, yeah, and I've made a few other losses, etc. So, but the thing is, I don't care, because I've been jumping in and out and dancing, I've actually ended up with way more Neo than I originally started out. So what I actually have is I've pound cost averaged my entry position down, and I've also got over $100,000 worth of losses, which I can offset for tax. So yeah, so I can offset 100 grand's worth of tax, and I've ended up with way more Neo. So I'm actually not too worried. So yeah, I've stepped aside again. I've exited at 81. I thought it was 85. Oh no, it was $85, but I actually end up filled at 81.15. And yeah, it's starting to fall now. So in terms of Bitcoin, 8,000, yeah, I think we're going to smash through that, and really we may spike down to 6. I mean, it's too early to tell whether it is going to be a full-on shit show down here, but yeah, 8,000 easy, 7,500, yeah, maybe a safe bet. And yeah, when you really do look at this on the, yeah, here we go. We have punched through this level here. We'll probably move, maybe see 800 again potentially before moving back down. So yeah, and I guess it's really shit. I mean, some people out there going, "Oh, this is we're probably seeing Head and Shoulders here," but that's a bit shit. Anyway, so that's that. In terms of euros, so some of you are sat in euros waiting to get back in. Yeah, I drew this. I've basically got a buying. I'm just curious, what does this show? Yeah, it's about the same picture. Basically, I think we're gonna have I would say between what's that doing there? Yeah, between 5,000 and 6,000 in terms of a buying opportunity to get back into Bitcoin there. Let's have a look at NEO. I'm going to look at NEO against Tether, as you can see. So yeah, I said the other day NEO was about to fall, which is why I got straight back in. And yeah, it's really crashed through that. Well, I say really, it's only gone down to 77. But I think, yeah, we may see a bit of a pullback to the 82 level before going back down. But yeah, I think if we look at the daily chart, we've got a lot more further. And also when we look at the weekly chart, it's horrible. In fact, let's look at this better here. So can anyone spot what I'm seeing here? Neckline, dead cat bounce. If that happens, we are looking at like $40 odd NEO. So I will not be getting back in at $70 or 65. By the way, guys, I will not. I'm actually looking more towards the I'm looking more towards 60 at the moment. No, 50 to 60. But yeah, I will be updating you. Technically, yeah. So technically speaking, if this is a dead cat bounce and it does pump through, we're looking at sort of $30–40 back into this range over here. So that's that. NEO against Bitcoin looks horrible. We had a big sell-off over here, and yeah, we could be looking down this level here. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense, and I'll just check that it has been recording, and I will see you soon. I'll update you as I know, and yeah, no doubt this is going to launch shitloads of other questions. I'll try my best to answer them all, but at the moment, long story short, I'm out of NEO. I'm waiting to get back in. I don't have a target level yet to go back in, but I will keep you up to date. Cheers.